Hey everyone, welcome back to Keeping Up with the Chaldeans. Today's episode is made possible by the generosity of our friends over at Public Waste. We want to thank them for helping us out with keeping the program going. Today we have Scott Kuza. He is, I guess, a friend first. Yeah. And then he's an actor, a writer, SAG-AFTRA union, published poet, an artist, lives out in LA, done some off-Broadway stuff, and we're going to let him kick off and tell us a little bit about his story. Hey, buddy.
Well, hey, guys. It's great to be here.
Listen, you can tell the viewers the truth. It's 24 degrees outside right now. Great to be inside.
Here. Great to be inside.
Inside.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it is.
It's a little change.
It's a bit of a change for me, the climate. But I'm adjusting to it day by day, I think. I mean, I every time I come in the winter, I ask myself, why did I do it? Okay. And if it wasn't for Christmas, and if it wasn't for my mother and my father,
yeah,
I definitely would tell my brothers, hey, I'll see you guys when it's warm.
What about the nephews and nieces?
Yeah, I love seeing them. I got 9 now.
But I'm sure the Bible gets an earful as why they came here before any other place. The famous question.
Oh yeah.
As Chaldeans, we always ask, why Michigan?
Why Michigan?
We're warm people.
Yeah, well, my dad would say, "What do you mean, why, Scott?"
Yeah, what do you mean, why? Why ask
why?
Why?
Why ask why?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, no, it's great to be here, though. Really excited. I saw, I know you guys had my brother Kevin on here,
yep.
And that was awesome.
Box Design.
Yep. Box Design. I was actually at the shop a few days earlier this week and checking out his cool truck. He's got that big truck, and I was super proud of him. I go in the shop, and it's funny, you see my pops there, and
yeah,
my pops
regulate.
Yeah, you know what? My dad's got he sort of regulated to a section of of the shop with a couple of other Chaldean guys, and they do the finished work, and
cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So Pop's still hands-on, huh?
He's very hands-on.
Really?
Yeah. He gets up. Yeah. He gets up, and he likes to be up on his feet. It's good for him. He gets out of the house. He gets his body moving. We were talking about how it feels stiff.
Yep.
And
you gotta keep moving.
You gotta get going.
You know how you're saying that? I never knew this, but most construction workers, usually if they don't stay mobile after retirement, pass away about 2 years after.
Really?
Because their body's used to every day waking up 6, 7 a.m., maybe earlier, working, and it's the same thing like you're saying. You shock your body when you stop from your normal routine of stuff like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
I was explaining that to them. Whenever I get here, I normally feel like a bit of a shock because I'm so active out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can because of weather. So,
sure.
Typical day, if I don't have, auditioning or whatever, I'm up early. I'm running in the hills. There's this wonderful Griffith Park, which is just this beautiful, beautiful area. It's like one of the largest parks in a big city. It's, I think, even larger than Central Park in New York City.
Oh yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Central Park?
Yeah.
It's larger than that, and so to be able to run around up in those hills, you see all kinds of stuff from coyotes to rattlesnakes,
sweet.
And you got to be a bit
Poisonous
careful.
rattlesnakes.
Yeah, you see them.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
scary.
It's kind of sweet though. I mean, just
it is sweet, but
to be able to go
scary
through
too.
It is scary. I tell my mom that. She freaks out. She's like, "Where are you going, Azizi?" I'm like, "I'm going for a run. Be careful.
Yeah.
There's snakes." So I'm like, "I'll be fine."
Nice.
But yeah, I enjoy but to just be out of my routine, it's and to be in this cold weather and try to get a new routine is difficult. So I always go through it almost feels like a hazing period. I get here and just like.
Ooh.
I'm in a fog for a moment, and then I have to bounce out of it.
How long ago did you move from here?
I left in 2001.
Oh, okay, so you have 19. You have 18 years.
Yeah,
Chaldean kid.
Yeah.
Out in Detroit.
Yeah, I was working.
Gonna get in the store business.
Yeah. Well, at the time, I was working. I was working actually in the bar scene out here at Pure Bar Room.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
I was at the bar back there. I was doing Pure.
Kevin was the bartender, right?
Kevin was the bartender. Yeah, we had some.
What a spot that was, though, man. Pure.
It was pretty epic.
Francis and the crew.
That was groundbreaking for the Detroit market. Like, there was nothing like that at all.
That was the first time to have to put money down on a booth and a bottle.
Well, because they had
yeah.
Julia, the door girl,
Yep.
with in this elaborate outfit,
remember that.
heels this high.
Yep.
Yeah.
Francis kind of brought that little
Yeah.
It was like more was like it was like a Miami style
Like a Studio
Stephanie
54.
Nager,
There you
Stephanie
go, yeah.
Nager, Francis.
Yeah.
It was special.
Yeah, it was special. Yeah,
It really was. It was a unique time to be working and to be
You were
part
really
of the
young.
scene. I was young. I was way too young, but
We
Kevin
were in
got
our,
me.
that was like
Prime,
perfect for us, like the
dude.
one
Yeah.
perfect time for
What
us
do
to.
you mean? I remember I was living in St. Louis at that time. I'd fly in, make sure guys get the booth ready.
Yeah.
It was the first time you had 10 guys each having to put in minimum of 100 just to get in the booth.
Yeah.
Plus the bill that came later for the
Yeah,
booth.
we didn't. There wasn't something around
Yeah.
here.
No,
it was
no.
pitcher beers and
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. No,
man.
you're right.
absolute vodka.
We had Pontiac.
yeah.
Pontiac Thursday nights. That's all we had.
What did we have on There was a Thursday night thing. What was
Industry.
that? Industry,
Yeah,
yeah.
we had Industry. Daza
Industry,
used to
yeah.
have that one.
Yeah.
He still does. He still got the building, but back
Yeah.
then it was popping. So
Right.
you guys were doing that.
Yeah, we were doing that, and then what
Yeah.
did we move over to the place down the street? I'm trying to think of the name, but that
Times
place
Square?
was wild. Yes,
Yep.
that place was wild.
Times Square. That was mine.
That was
Oh well, it was mine after you guys left.
Yeah,
so,
we-
So you had like Chris Bittigary. And,
That's who
and
we had, those
and a
guys,
couple
yeah.
other guys, and Julia moved there too, and then we ended up buying them out and.
Yeah, good thing. That was when we were there with those guys. That place was dark.
Yeah.
You guys, that was the craziest era if you think about it. This generation doesn't get what we got on that level. You were able to go through 3 bars in the city of Detroit, walk to each one, and not worry about anything going down with you.
Yeah.
And it was a lot more dangerous back then.
Oh yeah,
too.
way more.
Well,
dangerous.
there's some stories.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, there's
Yeah,
some
but
stories.
with us, I'm
Junior,
saying
for sure. I'm
personally-
not gonna say them, but yeah, there's some
Right.
stories.
So, but for the most part, you were able to go from Blue, and then which Pier became Excess, and then Times Square. That little diamond right there was like the most hopping thing. At that
It's
time.
great. Yeah, Joe Louis down the street. Yeah, you know, it was a great time.
Comerica was just built.
Yeah.
Comerica Park.
It was a great time to be growing up, and that scene was amazing. And then, you know, we had Motor Lounge down
Motor
in
was-
Hamtramck.
yeah. Motor
was
was the
fun.
beast.
Motor
Yeah.
was so
Yes.
fun. And then you had,
Red Room.
Smalls? Do you guys remember that place?
Smalls was down the street.
Down
Yeah,
the
that came a little after,
Yeah.
and it was a little more exclusive.
It
so,
was.
So it was really tight and really exclusive. And
Oh, yeah, it was a good dive. It was a
more,
dive.
and then Lush.
Lush.
Yeah.
Lush was
Pontiac.
fun.
Yeah, Lush was
In
fun.
Pontiac.
Lush
No,
was
Oh no,
No, Lush was
Hamtramck.
Hamtramck.
Yes,
That was like
yes.
a proper lounge.
Yes, that was a
They would
problem.
have Mike Night once a week on
Yeah.
there. It was the Mike Night Thursdays. The artists rappers would go in and do the
That's
mic
right.
challenges. But the rest of the time, it was just more like that. You said,
Dan Logan.
yeah.
Yeah, damn. I remember a great story of Eminem when he was at the height of his.
Yep.
My name is, you know.
Yep.
He Pure Barroom. He
Yep.
you know, they're like, he's coming in tonight,
Mm-hmm.
and I would always work the VIP area. I was because I want to, you know,
Yeah.
I want to go up there. I got to meet Charles Oakley one night. He was a bad dude.
Remember
Big.
the 3rd floor?
Oh yeah, the third floor was fun.
Third
Junior on the third.
At one point, I did.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that was a good
With
time.
Leyline.
Olsen. Olsen.
Oh, some severe.
Oh yeah, also
Yeah.
Robo. That's
Yeah.
great. But you know, they shut down. I remember security came up there and they shut down the entire.
Yep, floor.
Yeah, and he came in and he kicked me out. I wasn't even allowed to go up there, so I had to leave. And at the end of the night, you know, I'm taking out trash out the back door, and he's walking. I'm like yelling at him as he's walking up through the back and talking shit. And,
What were you yelling?
I was just giving him a hard time. Hey man, you kicked me out of my, you know. But he was cool about it. He just kind of gave me a nod, and it was like, whatever.
Yeah.
He didn't care much. I don't think he was at the height of that
Oh yeah.
Yep.
that
Oh, yeah.
craze. So
And he was popping all kinds of shit back at that time. He had issues with his drugs and stuff.
Yeah.
well, that time in
Painkillers and shit like that.
yeah, Detroit had like you said, that was a very interesting time for Detroit. The party scene over there, what was filtering through those places was
Yeah.
pretty intense.
Yeah, big time.
Well,
Yeah.
because what do you call it? Pontiac died out heavy.
Yeah.
Detroit came on board, and then along with Detroit, you had the after hour scene that came back heavy too at
gosh.
that time.
Yeah.
With numbers and all that stuff.
Numbers,
Yeah,
the
numbers.
Red Door,
Zoo Club.
yeah.
the zoo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bangle.
Tunnel.
Oh yeah.
Bankles.
Bankle,
Yeah,
yeah.
Bankles. Over.
Gosh, those moments are flashing through
Yeah,
my
right.
mind right now.
Of course.
They're giving me heat flash. I'm going like, whoa.
It was like 2036 Woodward. It was like 5 different venues in one, like right by Comerica Park.
Yep.
And it was like a like a art studio or gallery, and then live music, and then another room and another room.
Yeah.
Was Bill? I forgot his last name, man.
I'm trying to remember.
It was pretty. It was a very cool, creative layout. Like, because it was like 5 different
venues
in one. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, it was a good time. So I did that.
Yeah.
And I decided that was enough. That I had my parting filled up for 2 years. I was doing that. So I was like, I'm going to get in a Ford Explorer.
No shit.
And with my friend Matt at the time, he's still a good friend.
But let's go back.
Yeah.
Like, you're a Chaldean kid working at the store, like your pops and your siblings and all of that. So what made you become this dude that says, I'm getting the fuck out of here?
Right. Yeah. Well, it was funny. I try to trace back to, those moments of, when would that have happened? And that's part of the project that I'm working on right now. And I'll get more into that. But one of the things I used to do, I never really liked school.
Yeah.
I always, I always had an issue with getting up.
Yeah.
I never,
man.
I never, you know what? It's like I can get up early if I don't have anything to do. As soon as you tell me I have something to do at 7 a.m.,
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sleeping right through.
Of course.
I'm one of those. But I think at an early age, I would find any way to skip school, especially during the winter time. I was like, it's a prime opportunity for me to go and sick.
Yep.
So we had who was taking care of us at the time was Jessie. She was, she helped take care of my mom. Jessie's one of those old school Detroiter women who was just basically helped raise my mom. She helped raise us, and
What do you mean by help raising?
she would be at the house a lot.
Really?
Yeah, Jessie was, she would help out a lot,
No shit.
and she's an awesome woman.
Nice.
She's retired in Florida, but she was, also shopped at my dad's store.
No kidding.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. So she was part of, she'd come by.
The family.
Yeah, she was part of the family. So my grandmother, on my mom's side, she that's when they first got to know her, and she was helping out. So she helped out my mom in high school, and then my mom kept her on, and she and you would see her at these family events. She would always help. They would hire her on as a helping hand to do the catering or whatever.
So cool.
So Jessie would come over and almost be like a nanny.
Yeah.
And so if I was gonna skip school, I'd have to hang out with Jessie, and she was a hard ass. Like what I mean, hard ass Detroiter. You get the Marlboros, menthol 100s.
Yeah,
she
yeah.
was smoking it, and she'd be like, Scotty. She would tell me, you can be replaced by a chimpanzee. I never knew what that meant.
I don't know what that means.
Basically saying like you can be you can be replaced.
Your job.
Yeah. She goes, Scotty, you can be replaced by a chimpanzee. And I'm like, Jessie, I don't know what that means. She just get a big laugh. And anyways, I finally figured it out. I was like, hey, Jessie, I think you were making fun of me all those years.
Yeah.
She's like, I was. I'm like, okay, fair enough. So
what's the family dynamic? Mom, dad.
Mom, dad. I would skip school, so I'd watch these films, And I remember watching these things, and I'd see these worlds, and I'd sit there and, I'd have, I'd be like, this is so cool. I would skip school. I'd be like, that's wherever they are, however they got in the TV, you're young, you have no idea how it's done.
Really? You had that moment?
Yeah, I had that moment as a child, and I'd see it, like, I want to do that. I want to be wherever they are.
No shit.
I don't know how they do it. I just thought that was a world that was real.
Uh-huh.
So I remember thinking that, but not being able to articulate it or have any...
Process it.
Yeah, process it. Yeah, I just knew that I thought it looked, like a lot of fun. I liked the characters. I liked the fact that even in that world, you really couldn't get hurt. People would come back.
Yeah.
You'd get beat up and you'd get right back. You get right back up and you'd be having dinner the next scene.
I had that from Gilligan's Island.
100 punch.
Gilligan's Island. They live no matter whatever happens.
Yeah.
That little island.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Imagination, right?
Imagination. And for me, I always had a really big imagination, and it really was a part of me that, I would struggle with in school, until high school, where this one teacher, she is it my senior year. She
started high school.
West Bloomfield High School, and I started writing these poems, just for fun, and without me knowing, she took the poems and she submitted them to
Nice.
to something.
Okay.
To this, and I didn't think anything of it. couple of days left in the school year, she comes up to me. She's like, "Hey, you've won this thing."
That's beautiful.
And I'm like, well, "What did I win? For what?"
Yeah, unexpected.
And she was like, "You've won this writing program. You're going to go to this university, and you're gonna sit with other people who write poems and poets, and you're going to be able to explore the arts a bit." And I was like, "What?" And then at the end of the year, while they're doing the whole class of whatever, they make the announcements, and they're like, "And Scott Kuza for writing blah 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 award," and everybody just goes, "Dude, you write? This is hockey player. He doesn't say much. You write?" Yeah,
come
right.
to class on time.
Right.
Gets here an hour late every day.
Exactly.
He's like, no. He's like, more school? What are you talking about?
Oh my
lady?"
God! Me and Lamar Arabu used to skip first hour.
Lamar.
Him and he had a Camaro. I'll never forget it. In the back, it had a vanity plate, and then Lamar was ahead of the curve with the vanity plate. He used to say, "You love it."
You love it.
He had a green Camaro.
Now, was it a question or a statement?
I think he was saying a statement, but he loved that car, man. We had a lot of fun adventures in that car, a lot of, close calls, too, with the authorities in that car, and I won't get into details about that either.
Right.
But
statute of limitations, though.
Whatever,
You're
exactly. It was fun. So I got in my truck and I drove across the country.
Jeez.
At the age of 21. Landed in a place called Studio City.
You said you had a buddy with you.
Yeah, Matthew Stiller. My
Matthew
kiddo I
Stiller.
went to high school with. I've known him from grade school. His mother was actually the librarian at Orchard Lake Middle School, Mrs.
Really?
Stiller. Yeah.
Nice.
Any relation to Ben Stiller there?
No relation.
No relation.
But he gets it a lot.
Well, that's good. Good for him.
Yeah. So we drove across the country. Car broke down. As soon as I got my first job, I got a job as a cook.
Mm-hmm.
For a French woman. And how I got the job is she had the sign up front. I needed a job. I just landed there.
And you don't know how to cook?
No. So this is the best part. I go in the kitchen. I meet this guy named Jorge. He's the first Mexican guy I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
And Jorge was afraid I was going to take his job. Now, I didn't speak Spanish, and he didn't speak English that well.
Uh-huh.
And I assured him, man, it's the job interview. It's 8 o'clock at night. She goes, French woman. She says, "Scott, go make me a Caesar salad." And I was like, yeah, I can make a Caesar salad. I worked in a deli.
Where's the Caesar's dressing?
Yeah, so I go
He's
into
with a fried chicken that was over at the Detroit shop.
Exactly. So I go on the back, and Jorge is eyeballing me like this, and I'm like, "Dude, listen." And I'm pleading with him. I'm like, "I need a job. I swear I don't know what language you speak. I swear.
Your job is sinful.
I don't want your job. I'm going to learn from you." And he doesn't say nothing. He sees me struggling, and I'm panicking. I find the romaine lettuce, and I'm just trying, and he starts pointing at stuff. I grab the bowl, grabs that, and he starts mimicking what I need to do, and I do it. And he grabs the jet, and I toss it, and he's just watching me, and he's telling me, and we're not saying a word, but I'm quick. That's the, you talk about Chaldeans and working in Detroit and doing that stuff and working in the deli and growing up.
Yep.
All that stuff kicked in.
Yep.
Because you have to improvise.
Yes,
Right.
of course.
And
Absolutely.
I'm improvising, and I'm quick, and you
Yep.
can see that I can pick it up.
Yeah.
Good.
So here I am, I'm picking it up, and right before I take it out, I go, "Oh, wait." And I'm like, "You got a cucumber?" Of course, cucumber. He's like, no cucumber in that, no cucumber in the season. I go, no, trust me. So I take a cucumber.
What the fuck you doing with a cucumber?
I don't know. But I noticed my mom put cucumbers in every salad I've ever had. So I slice up a cucumber and I do a design on it, and I bring it out. I'm so proud of it. And I bring it out to the lady, and I'm "Here you go." And she's like, "Yes, it's beautiful. What? One question for you. Why do you have the cucumber?" And I'm like, "Well, that's how we do it in Detroit."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Really?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's a super." I was like, "That's a super popular way. Everybody eats their Caesar salads with cucumbers in Detroit." And here I am just lying.
In Detroit.
Yeah, in Detroit, and I'm just lying. She's
She's
like, "Really?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, we can add it to the recipe. It's a thing."
Jesus.
And she goes, "Okay."
Okay.
And she tried it. I'm like, "Try it with a cucumber," and really selling the cucumber. And she's like, "I love it. You got the job." And
Jorge, you're fired.
No, Jorge taught me everything. I learned how to make crepes. I
No
You
shit.
know, yeah, I learned how to do everything. I learned how to work on a line in the kitchen.
Spanish while you were?
I learned I got a lot of Spanish down over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of bad words too. It's like any
boy.
kitchen. You learn a lot of, the Anthony Bourdain stuff they talk about. That kitchen life and what you learn back there. You see a lot of, but coming from my background, none of that stuff. Being around blue collar people, none of that stuff really intimidated me. If anything, I get along very well with all walks of life. I'm really able to adapt very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it comes just from a great
Upbringing and
upbringing and respect for people.
Respect, absolutely. Yeah,
Plus, we dealt with some of the toughest, grounds of retail business.
Yeah.
Metro Detroit. I mean, let's be
Mm-hmm.
real. We got onto it, so we are able to adapt to anything in regards that came to us from there. So you've already dealt with the toughest. Now you're ready to deal with just your standard.
Yeah, Chaldeans are underdogs too. I mean,
Big time.
and they like proving people wrong,
Yeah, big time.
right?
Yes.
It's a great trait.
You did.
Yeah,
Right? You
I
got
did.
up and left at 21.
Yeah, left at 21. Everybody's, you're coming back next year.
Yeah,
You'll be
right.
back. You'll be back. And honestly, there's so many moments.
Well, there's always next year,
Yeah.
so they could be right.
Yeah, it could be.
One
Listen,
year.
when
One
I
year, next year.
when I do come back, if I and I think I will because it's what I know.
Yeah.
But I always wanted. It's funny because there's a book that I picked up off the shelf called "What Makes Sammy Run." I was maybe 18 or 19. It's written by this guy named Bud Schulberg. I just randomly went to a bookstore and it jumped out at me and I read it. And I just finished Bruce Springsteen's autobiography, Born to Run. And I thought, there's a coincidence. What makes Sammy run?
Yeah.
Born to Run. I think leaving Detroit and trying to make it out on my own was no different than our parents leaving
Iraq.
Iraq to find a different life and to try to make it.
That's interesting.
And I think I'm finally starting to understand that about where that sort of it comes from.
Sure.
That
So
desire.
Which are our parents Sammy or Bruce? And are you Sammy or Bruce?
I would say, I would say more like Bruce. But I'd say our parents are more like Bruce's parents. Well, I would say they're more like Bruce's parents.
Okay,
Because
gotcha.
Italian family.
Yes.
Very immigrant oriented, and our parents went through a lot of so many sacrifices for us, as we all know. And
So Bruce Springsteen is not a Jew?
No, he's not.
He's not.
No. Bruce Springsteen is Italian.
What's his real last name?
Springsteen.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You should check out the autobiography. There's a great movie called Blinded by the Light. If you get on a plane, it's you can watch it on a plane right now.
No shit.
But yeah, it's about a Pakistani kid who moves to a city called in England called Luton, and he finds Bruce Springsteen, and and he finds his voice. And
That's wild.
Nice.
but yeah, I didn't actually get into acting till quite a few years later, and that was.
Why don't you tell us how that happened?
Okay, yeah, that was in I think around 2008, 2009. I went to San Francisco for 2 years, and the girl I was dating was in LA.
What were you doing in San Fran?
I got my degree, so I got my associate's degree in Los Angeles, at this place called Los Angeles Valley College.
Okay.
And that was a place where Sean Austin he had graduated from the theater program there. He's the guy who played Rudy. He was also in the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
He was Sammy or Sam. As
Okay,
Frodo, Sam. That whole thing.
Yeah.
And I finished my associate's degree, and I always knew I really wanted to prove to myself that I can get a college degree. And I known in my family, I didn't know any male that had graduated college. So it was important to me.
Your Uncle Lath?
my Uncle Lath. No, I don't think he did.
Booze.
Yeah.
Best guy, man.
But he, excuse me. So I got my associate's degree, and I said, you know what? I had a friend named Danny Toccolino, who's actually was another Detroit guy. Who worked at Pure Barroom as well.
Really?
He's a musician, yeah. His band's called Leopold and His Fiction. He's an Italian kid. His mother is a wonderful woman who worked in the makeup and all that Royal Oak scene back in the mid-'90s.
Okay.
So he was out in San Francisco, and he's like, hey, you should apply to this college. So I did. and I got accepted into the writing program, and so I went there to get an English major with an emphasis on creative writing. Went over there for 2 years, got a crazy job working in leather, same type of deal.
Working in what?
Leather.
Leather.
Bike leather, so motorcycles. So I dealt with a bunch of Hells Angels and cops.
Come on,
It
man.
was such a crazy job, dude.
Who wrote that app out for you?
Come on, man.
Oh my God,
Did you have
that,
somebody fill the app out for that?
bro.
Yeah.
You know what? I went in there.
I told him I've been riding Harley since I was 16.
Right.
So this place is the oldest motorcycle.
Harley outside right now.
Oh my God! I saw the sign, and I was walking up and down looking for a job, and I saw the sign, and it was a leather store, and I walked in. I didn't know a thing about leather. At the time, actually, I was a vegetarian,
Shit.
so even worse for a guy wanting to work in leather.
Yeah.
So I grabbed the sign. I tell the guy, his name's Alan. He's still a dear friend. Alan's a New York City guy who lived in San Francisco. Al now is in his late 60s. And Al's a great salesman. I mean, he would say, you know, I can sell sand to the Arabs. You know, he is that good of a salesman. You talk to Al, he can sell. He's a New Yorker, proper, can sell you anything.
Right.
So I thought he was interesting. So I said, hey man, I want to work here. He said, what do you know about leather? I'm like, I don't know anything, but I can learn. He goes, well, this guy's gonna call you later. His name's Johnson. He owns the shop. Johnson called me. He's like, hello, Scott. He's got this really intense voice, and he's drunk.
Oh shit.
And I'm like, hey, what's up, Johnson? And I'm walking down the streets of San Francisco, and he's like, hey, tell me about yourself. And I tell him, and I can tell, he goes, oh, okay, I like you. And this guy Johnson was an orphan from China. And he moved to San Francisco with nothing, and he became a self-made man.
Wow.
And and he's a tailor, and he figured out how to supply the entire city of San Francisco and all of the CHP and the highway patrol.
Yep.
He was making all their coats, and then all the Hells Angels from worldwide. And he had this little shop.
It's crazy.
Wow.
You got legit and illegit.
Yeah. No, I have a funny story.
You know what I'm
Story about
saying? You're serving both at the same
Yeah.
time.
Protected them both from riding.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So he interviewed me on the phone, and he gave me the job on the phone.
What was the job?
A salesman
Okay.
and working as an apprentice to him.
Okay.
So you would learn. So I got these really cool jackets. I should have brought one over. But basically, you would see the patterns and how these things were made. And we'd go to the warehouse, which is in San Francisco. And this is still no acting, no nothing. I was writing at the time. And I was going to school. So I was going to school at the same time. I was working this leather job. I remember the Hells Angel, the San Jose chapter, would go in there. Now, the Hells Angel, they're interesting. So if they got a vest like this, you can't touch their vest. You're not allowed to touch their stuff.
Okay.
So they're an intense group. That guy, the San Jose chapter guy, was probably 6'6". He would come in there, give me a big squeeze, and I'd freeze up, and he'd tell me where they want their patches on the jacket, and we sew it. After they would take the old one, you would have to give them the other one because they would burn it. But they have a whole code. And now what I learned was that the cops who ride bikes have their own bike gangs too. So there was a day that I was in there that
While off duty.
off duty.
Okay.
So there's one day I was in there. I was outfitting a couple of the guys, and they're in there. We're getting their final measurements, and I was getting their measurements, doing whatever. Got the tape out, and I was the proper tape guy.
Yeah.
I was in there wearing my leather pants. I knew it. I had it going on, and we had the Hells Angel guys come in. There's the Italian chapter. A couple of the guys, like I said, would be very intense. I'll never forget it. I was in the shop. I was in the middle. They were there picking up their vests, and the other guys were there picking up their jackets. And the amount of tension in that little small store was like you could cut it. I mean, I was, at that point, again, relied on my Detroit store upbringing.
Instinct, yeah.
Yeah, to just kind of keep my mouth shut and make it as easy as possible. Everything went smoothly. Everybody left.
Thank God.
Yeah, but it was, I'll never forget that because here it was, a bike gang like the Hells Angels, and then you got the CHP. and you can tell they didn't like each other. So I got my degree. I segue. I got my degree. I graduated with an English degree from San Francisco State University.
Good for you.
Yeah, drove back to L.A., broke up with the gal I was seeing at the time, and then I moved into a place, and this is where the acting comes in, where I stayed. We were staying in Chinatown, which is near downtown Los Angeles. And my buddy was kind of...
That city's wild, L.A.
Oh, yeah.
Well, people don't get from block to block. It changes.
Oh, yeah.
You go from hood to like million to multi-million dollar properties
Absolutely.
to right back to the hood.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So you're on a couch.
So I'm on a couch.
All right.
Looking for work. Again, I was always looking for work. So the one thing is when you're out on your own, like you guys know, you need to get to work.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when you're starting new like that, and you keep restarting over, you gotta like my dad tells me, and he still tells me to this day, which I love him for, you gotta get out there.
Yeah.
You gotta get out there. It's not gonna come to you. You gotta get out there, and you gotta do it yourself. No one's gonna give it to you.
That's always 100%.
And so here I am, sleeping on a couch, watching my Red Wing games. I figured that out. And
back then, how did you do that?
we got the Red Wing package. I split it with this guy. Yeah,
cool.
I don't know how we did it.
Yeah.
And we had this TV. I'll never forget. We had a nice setup, and I was sort of sleeping on his sofa, man, and kind of didn't have a clue what I was gonna do. That's another point where I thought, all right, this is it. I'm moving back.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. I got my degrees, and I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
Lost.
I was like, yeah,
It's the worst.
it's the worst feeling, right? But you know what? I will say this, and I still have.
Makes you through better time. It gets you through better times. You know.
You grow the most.
Yeah.
You learn the most about yourself when you're down and out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, it is going to test you, and really, when you get out of it, you realize how special that time was.
Sure.
It's almost a gift.
Sure.
You know,
Your case is a little harder at that time because you don't have what we have here. We have the advantage of turning to so many others when we need to.
Yeah.
And
You were on an island.
You were in the jungle, by yourself. So
that part was
your
really
challenge is
challenging.
even more tough.
Yeah, luckily I have a really open line with my family. I'm a very big communicator
Sure.
with them, and my brothers, both Stephen and Kevin, are, all of them are great.
Great guys.
Stephen
Sisters are great too.
They're the best, and so my sisters are wonderful too, and I'm very proud of them, all of them.
Your brother-in-law, your sister-in-law,
they're
all good people.
Thank you. Yeah, they're amazing. I was sitting there and I see this, my buddy Matt, who I'd moved out to. He started acting.
Mm-hmm.
Said, why don't you go on this thing called Actors Access? It's like this, this site where you can go submit. I said, sure. So I go over there and I see a casting call. I just looked it up, and he gives me his password, whatever. And I see a casting call for extra work, and I needed work, man. I needed to get to work.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, anybody can do this. And it said, if you're an actor, you get paid a bit more. I said, great. So I go to my friend Eric, who's another Detroit guy. I said, Eric, I need
a lift.
No. Actually, I had an old Volkswagen that my cousin Heather had given me. Who was living in San Diego.
Oh, nice. Heather who?
Heather, it's from my mom. It's from my dad's side.
Okay.
It's from my mom. It's from my dad's sister, Maysoon.
Gotcha.
It's her daughter Heather. And so, she had given me this Volkswagen that had over like 250,000 miles on it.
Jesus.
Slug bug.
Was it a slug bug?
I was so happy to have it. Yeah.
Of course.
I was so happy.
To the youth, they may not know what slug bug is.
Right.
Who knows?
Oh, yeah. I did drive an actually S72 proper one of those, which was super fun.
Remember you used to nail each other?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. When those things you drive by.
Yeah.
Slug bug.
Pop.
Oh, yeah. A lot of those in our family. A lot of bruised shoulders. I'm sitting there, and I get the, I see it. Eric, I'm like, dude, I need a headshot. I don't know what a headshot is.
Yeah.
So we go by the stairs, because this house is up in the hills, because they're going to tear this house down, so he's staying in it for free.
Oh, shit.
So I do this, funny pose, and takes a photograph of me on a digital camera back in 2008 or whatever.
Yeah.
And we go to his printer. He had an old Canon printer, and he prints it out. It's pretty normal looking. Look, I look ridiculous. Whatever. It prints out, and then he's like, "All right, we gotta make a resume." I'm like, "Great." I'm like, "Let me think about what plays I've read.
Yeah.
I've read like 2."
Yeah.
So it was like The Disenchantment, and we just make it up.
Mm-hmm.
So Scott Kuza at the top. My eye color, weight, hair, and a couple of bullshit things and special
Experience,
skills.
yeah.
You know, print that out, staple it. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go. My buddy comes. He's like, all right, let's go. I'll go with you. So we go to this thing, and it's we get to the casting, and there's 2 lines. One it says non-actors, and one that says actors. Now the non-actor line had like 60, 70 people in it, and the actor line had like 2 or 3. I go to my buddy, I'm going in the actor line. You know, he's like, okay, cool, yeah, we made your resume, just do
I'm
it.
going to act like an actor.
Yeah, act like an actor.
Act like an actor.
So I take my headshot and I hand it to the lady. She goes, "You're an actor." I said, "Oh yeah, I'm an actor." Same thing with the salad, you know,
Yeah.
with the
Of
cucumbers.
course.
Right.
Oh yeah, I am.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Right?
So she looks at it and she sets it down. At that point, I had realized that my headshot was the wrong size. It was too big. Everybody's headshot, professional headshot, was a certain size, and mine was
5
bigger.
by 8, and yours is 8.5 by 11.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And you know, and so at this point, I'm having a slight panic attack. I'm like, she's gonna know I'm lying. And so she doesn't say nothing. She puts me around the camera. I try on these different hats, and I'm trying them on, and she's asking me questions, and this character is for an Afghan refugee. And I'm like, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I got that. Yeah, can you speak Farsi? Yeah, a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't even know what Farsi meant.
Shwaya.
Yeah. And she's like, okay, great. A few months go by. I'm sleeping on the
What the hell is Farsi?
Yeah,
Iranian.
it's Iranian.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's for Afghanian, you
Yeah.
know. So I'm sleeping on the sofa, and it's Friday night, and the phone rings. I get my flip phone, and I see it. It's a number, and it's like, you know, it's a number I didn't recognize, but in those days, you still picked up those numbers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
would still be like, okay, who is this? So I pick it up, and it's this woman. And she's like, hi, is this Scott Kuza? And I'm like, yeah, it's Scott Kuza. And I submit a lot of resumes around town to restaurants, to anything. She's like, hi, it's so-and-so from Universal Pictures. I don't know who did it. Could have been Paramount. I'm like, yeah. And I'm still like suspect. And she's like, yeah, well, we need you to show up because we have wardrobe and makeup on Monday, and we can't get a hold of your agent. And I'm like, well, you can't? And she's like, no, we can't get a hold of him. I
That
said,
bastard.
I'm like, gosh, yeah, I don't know why. And they're like,
He didn't
well,
pay his prepaid bill.
Right.
yeah. She's like,
No,
well,
but tell our viewers why they couldn't get a hold of your agent.
well, because I made it up.
Yeah, right.
You know, I had made up all the information on the resume. And, you know, like for the agent number, I'd put some BS number. And I'd put, if you can't get a hold of my agent, call this number, which
Yeah.
was my number. And so she's like, well, Scott, you know, we got some really good news. We're going to Taft Hartley you. And I'm like, to who's Taft? You're like, excuse me? I'm like, Taft who? They're like, Taft Hartley. I was like, I don't know him.
Yeah.
They're like, it's not a person. They're like, it's the union. We're gonna put you in the union, the SAG union. You're gonna be. This is going to allow you to work as a union actor, and this is the same union as Tom Hanks or whatever. They're like, Scott, like, this is really good news. You have a scene with Tom Hanks, and you're gonna be featured in the film.
And like, hold on. Put the phone down. Like, you're dropping F-bombs. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, ma'am. How
Yeah.
much am I getting paid on this?
Exactly.
Yep.
I said that. I was like, so this is a good paying gig? She goes, absolutely. I'm like, oh my God, here I am living on a sofa.
Lying through your teeth on the app.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I'll be there Monday. Give me the address. And I write down the address and I hang up the phone. I'm like, this is super cool. At the same time, actually, I got in another, I went for a job interview at this place called Doughboys, an Egyptian guy, still a friend of mine today, named Terry Toba, who is a stand-up comedian. He gives me a job. He calls me up. He's like, hey, do you want to manage our restaurant at night? And I'm like, yes, man. I want to manage your restaurant at night. I need work.
Manage many restaurants.
Uh-huh.
You should see the Caesar salad I do.
Oh, my God, my salad, exactly. Do they need a Caesar
Put it
salad
on the
What do you
recipe?
mean?
Yeah, right.
The famous SK salad.
Oh,
Right?
Cucumber.
gosh, yeah, the
Yeah.
cucumber special. So I show up on Monday, and it's just like larger than life experience. I have all these people and this wardrobe, and they're going around, and I meet Mike Nichols, who directed the Graduate. He's passed away, but he's just famous director. And you know, he looks at me and he's like, "You're gonna play an Afghan refugee, and let's get him into makeup." And I, Scott, you can't shampoo or wash your hair for a month, and we want you to grow out your beard.
A month.
I'm like,
What?
I just got a job as a restaurant manager.
Right.
I'm gonna. They're like, well, that's what we want.
Yeah.
I said, okay. And then they tell me they're gonna put me in the union. Still don't know what this is all about. It's, you know. So I ended up, you know, going through this whole thing. I go and I see Terry at the restaurant a day later, and I'm like, hey Terry, listen, I got the job. Thanks for the job, but I can't wash my hair and shave my beard for a month. I don't know if you still want me.
Yeah.
He's like, absolutely, man. He's like, just wear a hat.
Yeah.
And so for a month, he let me wear, you know, while I was waiting for the
wow.
job to go through, because it took for them for a month. We showed up. I met a bunch of people from Afghanistan, and I was on the set. And my first rehearsal, there's Tom Hanks standing right in front of me. And Tom doesn't say nothing. Super nervous. I got a daughter. I'm in there. And Mike Nichols comes by, and I say a joke, and I crack a joke to try to make everybody more relaxed. Tom doesn't say shit. He's like, just like, and Mike Nichols laughs at the joke. Production calls me the next day, like, oh, so you made Mike Nichols laugh. They know everything. I was like, yeah. Ended up, I shot the scene, and this is like full on 20 people touching you before you go, Panavision cameras. All right, action, like $1 million budget film.
Of course.
Really overwhelmed. They cut the scene.
Oh no.
Yeah. But, you know, it didn't make it to the final cut, but this is a movie that starred Philip Seymour Hoffman, who passed away, one of my favorite actors.
He was a
And-
beast.
What did they cut? Like why did they cut scenes? Like what are they?
So this montage was for the sequence where he plays a congressman in this movie called Charlie Wilson's War.
Yeah.
And his character comes into a place in Afghanistan where he goes and he visits all the Afghan refugees.
Right.
And the people who are injured. So he comes to me, and he's with me and my daughter, and he comes and he says something to us. Get well type of thing. So when they were making the film, that whole sequence, which they spent, I'm sure, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars shooting.
I'm saying, how do you just, you get what I mean? Like,
It didn't serve the story,
Condense
Junior.
Yeah.
So they cut it. But I made a good chunk of change on the film.
Yeah.
nice.
So I was like, I'm going to be an actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in the union.
Right.
Why not?
Yeah.
So that's how it all started.
Gonna
This
lean on my
union's a
union
big-
brothers and
The
sisters.
union's a big deal.
The union is
Oh,
a
yeah.
big deal.
What's
SAG
the
after
advantage of it, and what does it do for the performer, the entertainer?
it protects the performer
Yeah.
from people taking advantage of them.
Okay.
From it protects the performer for better set conditions.
Mm-hmm.
It allows you to have other people who are there for you in terms of you know, it legitimizes some of the jobs.
Yep.
It makes sure that it's holding people accountable.
Okay.
So and then the insurance is really great. They give, if you you got to qualify, so you got to book a certain amount. So a lot of the ways I qualify is through commercial work.
Gotcha.
So over the years, I've done a lot of commercial work, from any brands to AT&T to I just did Toyota before I left, to Visa, MasterCard.
Okay.
You know, so you're working, and these are amazing, things and fun things to work on, and you meet a lot of people, and so.
That's our cameraman Mark and I were talking about that beforehand. He did explain about the union. So you were able to do it by getting. You can't just walk into it. It's not something like Anthony and I say, "Oh, we've been keeping up with the
Gotta earn
Chaldeans. Let's get onto this new union."
You gotta earn it, or you gotta lie through your teeth.
Yeah, yeah. You know
You
what?
gotta land a gig.
You gotta land a gig. Yeah.
Few gigs, right? Is
Yeah.
it-
Speaking role.
Yeah.
Yep. Because
Yeah.
you have to have multiple roles and be able to be on them.
That's why if you watch like some television or films where an actor will say something to somebody sitting there and they won't respond, they'll just, because if they speak, then they they're unionized. They qualify for the union.
All right. Yeah.
So they you'll see them. They'll just be like.
Like when they ask the kids if they like what they're eating or something, for that example.
Or a guy walks by, did you see that? Or they'll just go, and they won't speak. They just got a gesture.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of politics involved in all that. Is that what it comes down to with
the union?
Yeah, with union and acting and all that. Is there a lot of politics behind it? That's why you need that force behind you.
Yeah, there's a lot of politics that goes into it. There's a lot of nepotism, and it's a really hard career, man. I started it professionally 11 years ago, and I've done multiple independent films to commercials, and it's still. I mean, I still got to take jobs, odds and end jobs to pay, rent or to
Sure.
It's not. You can have 5 good years
It's
and
a lot of
Yeah.
work.
It's a lot, and the amount of studying and preparation and classes
If
and
you don't
voice
develop,
work.
then you're not gonna.
No, yeah. I mean, I had to go and learn it all over. I basically had to go to university for acting.
Sure.
So it didn't, once I got my break in the beginning, but then you have to learn.
Yep.
And then because it becomes something that you truly have in you that you loved. And it's funny because I told you that story when I was a kid watching those films when I was a kid and wanting to be in them. It didn't happen until I was 27, 28 years old. There's an actor called Peter Falk. He's not around anymore, but you remember Columbo, that show?
Yeah, I know. Peter Falk is, yeah.
He didn't start till around the same age, and he always said, one of his quotes said, I just want to go into a room where the other actors are and them just to recognize me. To say, hey, that guy does what we do.
Yeah.
And I'm paraphrasing, but that's for me, that's what I want from it. I want to walk in and
be recognized.
Yeah, just to be noticed for my work.
Yep.
Because it's important to me.
Respected by your peers.
Yeah, respected by my peers. That's probably the most important because I love the work so much. And it is a lot of work,
And you've poured your heart into it from many different angles, from writing to even the poetry side, the acting side.
Yeah.
Yeah, even this right here, right? Isn't this some of the stuff of your work here as well?
Yeah, Darn That Dream was Darn That Dream, Darn That Dream was a book of poems that was published by a guy named Jimmy Thompson who illustrated the artwork. Mm-hmm. Jimmy's a wonderful, wonderful illustrator. You can see
and those
some
are all your poems.
Yeah, these are all my poems. I write on an old typewriter. Thanks, Junior.
Yeah.
Jimmy, the writing has always been sort of something I've done.
Yeah.
Since that lady submitted me to So it's always been something that I've done that people have just sort of taken notice of. Instagram's been a great way. Jimmy is kind enough to want to include me. I love his work, but the illustrations in those poems go hand in hand. They really work well together. Every poem was written in LA. Every subject in the book that has been painted in ink is from LA too. Mm-hmm. We have a second book launch coming up for Volume 2, April 9th. It's being hosted by 1700 Nod, which is a blanket under Monster Children. If you look them up on Instagram, they got a few 100,000 followers, and it's
Monster
fun.
Children?
Yeah, Monster Children.
Okay.
It's fun to be a Chaldean kid and do all this stuff, write poems, and do the arts, do the theater.
Sure.
I did an off-Broadway show last year. I would have never thought going, working in my dad's store, doing those bottles. I remember those days vividly. Going in the back and separating and learning how to stock aisles. And I would never have thought that I would be in some of the places I've been and met the people that I've met in this field. People that I see on the big screen. My dad was watching a film last night. I knew, I know these actors that are on there. There's some of them I can call them my friends.
Right.
And I would have never thought that those people now in that screen, and that I've either have worked with them in some capacity.
Yeah, you've joined their world.
I have.
You've joined the world of what you saw as a kid.
You're a performer.
Exactly.
You've made it to
Yep, he's a performer now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Made it come true.
So it's pretty wild to do that, and I think it's pretty cool.
I want to touch into so the viewers know with the stuff that you've done and how well your performance has gotten you over the years. You've done different acts and other things in the industry. Mm-hmm. You're now going into your own. You did off Broadway.
Yeah.
A few of those, right?
I've done one off-Broadway
Okay.
show that was in December of last year at the Soho Playhouse. Fleabag, the lady who performs there, she's an amazing actress. She performed after we did. That was a big special moment. Michael Shannon's been on that stage, another great actor. People I really admire and respect. The stage, there's something about it. In New York City, you go underground, and those walls are built by the immigrants of this country.
Yeah.
It's an old city.
Yep.
Wow.
So to be under there and to be on those stages is, for me, walking down Broadway, getting text messages by actors who were doing Broadway shows and wishing me luck. It was...
So you're going coast to coast.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, my management company's in New York City.
Okay. Well, who's that?
Melissa Young.
Melissa.
Yeah, she's under the umbrella of Bicoastal Management.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Bicoastal.
Yeah. She's wonderful. My agency is Lemon Lime. They're my commercial agents, and it's these people, the team that gets behind me, they're very supportive. But it's a business where you really have to be a self-starter.
Sure.
So the off-Broadway show was a very humbling experience because the show was in L.A. and then got picked up to go off-Broadway. L.A. got killer reviews, sold out every night. New York, different. It's a much tougher crowd. It's a much more theater-centric
different coast,
place,
definitely.
But
let's
I
talk
loved
about
it.
how you're trying to tie. So we said bi-coastal, and let's talk about how you're trying to tie in your California writing with your Detroit upbringing.
Yeah. So I'm working, coming from the theater world. I'm working on a one-person show right now called Middle Eastern Middle Child that sort of ties in, this last year I started writing it. I want to tie in, my experience, growing up and leaving home and what that means and the city of Detroit.
Before you go into all that, explain what a one-person show is.
It's different. It can be a lot of things. It can be experimental. This particular show is basically I'm telling a story. I'm going to go up there and tell a story that starts at a certain point of my life.
Yep.
And that can either go back or it can go forward. And for about an hour or so, I'll be playing different characters, and I'll be performing in front of an audience, a live audience, and explaining and telling them a story. Right. Essentially. So I'm bringing you into the world of my imagination.
So you'll be playing many different roles.
In this particular one, I think I'll just be playing a few. I haven't. It could be. It could be a few.
Okay.
I have to narrow it down. There's many characters. Like I was telling you, Jesse. My father's one of the characters in this one. In this particular story, Act 2, I come out as him. In the '80s, dancing at a Chaldean wedding.
I'm sure you're dressed to the nines.
Oh yeah, I'll be dressed as my pops role now. So, but my dad for me is always been a performer.
Yeah.
I think he's been a performer who was never really allowed himself to follow that because he has so much responsibility, like a lot of our parents do, to their brothers, their sisters, their parents.
Plus, it wasn't up their alley at that time, like it is like the diversity of what we do today compared to then. There was some Chaldean actors. They were on low TV and commercials and stuff,
Yeah.
So what would it take to bring that production here? Like, what would you need so that our people here in Detroit could support it and bring it to life and help bring it to life?
Well, we would need a theater.
Okay.
We would need a theater, and from that we would need people to help. With a stage manager, from everything from a stage manager to someone to work the lights. And then from a promotional aspect, we would need to get that in order. I have a wonderful director that I work with in Los Angeles. So I would do all my prep work there because that's where I'm there the majority of the time. But it would be a wonderful,
So the Chaldean Chamber put on a comedy show. They've been doing some comedy shows lately. With Paulie Jonah's been spearheading
he's wonderful.
it. Yeah. So how much time would you need? Say they brought in this act again, or more different comedians in, and then featured Scotty Jonah's Middle Eastern Middle Child. Like, could that coexist?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the show it's pretty versatile in the sense that I think there's
comedic
it has yes, but it's heavy too.
Oh, of course, yeah.
It's about
It's reality.
It's reality, yeah. It's a sense of, you know, it starts at 39.2. You know, I say that as like 39 years of age and 2 months.
Okay.
That's when the story starts, and it starts in a very dark way.
No.
So it's about life gives you a moment where you really have a choice, and you can either completely go dark or you can turn it around and use it.
Mm-hmm.
And that moment for me, it symbolized a lot. It was when I realized my own mortality and that life is finite.
Understood.
And, you know, yeah, right?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And I know that's heavy duty stuff, but there's humor in it.
Yeah.
And once you come to terms with that mortality, which took me about a year, you start to understand how lucky it is to just be here in this particular moment.
Yes.
I know this sounds pretty woo-woo and cheesy.
No, but it's kind of cool how you how you're talking about that now, and then how you were envisioning you in the TV at the time too.
Yeah.
So it's not always Disneyland and happy-go-lucky in Hollywood.
Right.
It's right now. It's right here.
It's right here.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So that's it. So that's the most
Good for
important.
you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good for you for that vision too, as well.
Yeah.
So anything else that you want to mention that we may have?
No, you know, just keep doing what you guys are doing. I'm so proud of the community right now, and
Very kind.
We are too, man. It's made us so much more aware doing this show to see what all you guys are doing. It's amazing.
It is amazing.
Yes.
And to be able to share it with our community.
It's special.
Knowing that there are so many different things that we're into now, man.
Yeah.
You know,
we're helping lead the way again in a different way.
2001, got in the car and took off.
Yeah. 2001,
right? So usually we close out the show with a question. What does it mean for you to be Chaldean? Can you take that question and turn it into a poem? Can you answer it in poem?
Oh, probably on the spot. Probably not. I would say.
Let's do it, man. Let's try it anyway.
No.
More of your philosophical.
Yeah.
That way.
Okay.
Of what it means to between all that. Because
what it means to be Chaldean.
Yeah. To you.
To me.
Yep.
It means to be proud of who you are and where you come from.
Mm-hmm.
To not look upon it as a disadvantage, but to embrace those core values that have been given over through time,
Yes,
and to allow them to work through you and to give yourself a voice. That's who you are. That's your heritage. It's special. It's unique. It's who you are, and that's enough. So, if anything, what does it mean to be Chaldean for me is showing up every day. If I can do that, and I can, it is me.
Yeah.
It's in my blood. It's going nowhere.
Yep.
So embrace it.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, add cucumbers.
Add cucumbers.
Fuck it.
I love it.
SK salad.
Beautiful, man.
The SK salad.
Well, thanks everyone for
Thank you guys.
enjoying the amazing journey this guy just took us through, man. It's,
Anybody
beautiful.
looking for acting or anything like that? I mean, or doing poetry or stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I love
man.
it.
Cool.
Reach out to me, man.
All right, awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. We'll see you next time.